folks, it's Isabel. I hope everyone's doing well. So these two decks I picked up on holiday in France. So we spent 2 weeks in the Brittany, and one of the French bookshops, so FNAC, we went in because my daughter was looking for some stationery, because French stationery is really quite good, certainly better than ours at times in the UK. And I happened to find they had a rather good section of decks and books and things. Now, obviously, a large proportion of those things were in French. There were some English language decks. There was also, I was there for a little while, and I had quite a big debate with myself because having not used decks very much, I noted that they had the Le Tarot Arthurien by Anatorium and Claire Duval, I think. Apologies if I've got the names wrong. Which is a deck that I was really keen to get at some point, and to get it in the UK, I would have to ship it from Amazon France. But I decided not to get it because I felt like I've got so many decks that I've not worked with. I didn't want to be picking that up. But I did spot these very well priced Oracle decks, which I thought I would get. So they're kind of like a souvenir. They had lots of these. So these are by a company called Secret d'Étoile. And I think I've seen them on a couple of other French speaking channels. It's possible I've seen them on Waves of Your Soul, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But these decks were only €14.95. So when you convert it for English pounds, certainly at the time, it was very reasonable. They're not massive. They are Oracle decks. They are quite small Oracle decks. But at the same time, I thought they were really nice content. So they're both 25 cards. Big. One of them is by the same creators, I think. Yes. So by Magali and Sara Mottet, or Mottet, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Now, obviously, one issue is that they are in French. I do have reasonable French, although I think my French around the Merlin and Merlin, Arthur and dragons is perhaps more limited. Anyway. And one of the reasons I actually went for these, particularly for the Merlin one, is because in Brittany, there are lots of areas of prehistoric stone sites. And one of them, it has legend of being the resting place of Merlin. And there's a fountain and Merlin's forest and things. So I thought it was quite appropriate. And I just adore dragons. And they are like my spirit animal, really. So that was where the dragons come. So these are two 25 card decks. They are very big cards, but they are, I have opened the boxes, but I've not really properly flicked through the cards. So they are quite big cards, and they are quite thin and shiny, which, yeah, I'm not keen on that. I knew they were big, obviously. They do have a decent guidebook, though. The guidebook is brilliant. So this is the Oracle of Merlin. Basically, there's a little bit about the Oracle, and then a couple of pages for each card. So obviously the only thing you can see is that this font is really quite small, and it can be quite hard to read, and it is in French. So whether I use Google Translate or what I do, I'm not sure. But basically, it talks a little bit about the order of the cards. It talks about a little bit about the what's on each card. There's some spreads and the cards themselves, and for each card it has like a meaning related to different things. So you've got the legend itself, symbolism, strength, animal. Let me just see if I can translate that. No. L'entrave, la plante, so a plant that's associated with le chemin, that's like a root, le souffle de Merlin, and renversé on the reverse. So they have a series of different meanings. So whether I use the guidebook and look at the meaning in French, I'm not sure. But we shall see. Just to show you against the Oak, Ash and Thorn taster card, for their standard deck, you can see how much bigger the card is. I'll just turn it that way so you can see properly. This is one of the Total Tarot cards, and again, massive difference there. So they are really big but quite thin. The backs are very Celtic. You've got this sort of Yggdrasil or tree of life, very Celtic here, and what looks like almost like a carved stone behind. And yeah, and so you've got different cards. Now from what I can gather as well, they're kind of in groups. So and they also have symbols as well. I'm gonna have to just zoom out a tad to, whoops, wrong way. Okay, so I've just zoomed out a tad because the cards are so big. As I say, apologies for the lighting, it is quite dull today, and if I turn the overhead light on, it just causes glare. So here we've got this tree with, so let's have a look at the cards. This is called Le Chêne. Here we've got this tree with this face in it here. I'll go right up here. Oh, look at the light. There's a lot of detail in the cards. I can see various elements of symbolism in here as well. Les saisons de l'or, so that's a bear. So the season of the bear. They've got this beautiful tree with the moon side and the sun and this bear, but you can see like the skeleton as well. This is, and then you've got characters. So Viviane, which is the character, the Lady of the Lake, I think Viviane is. And again, it's very beautiful. They've got quite a lot of detail. Le dragon. So you've got this dragon creature here. Le cerf, the stag, I'm assuming, or deer. Broceliande, so this is the forest in Brittany where they believe the Fountain of Youth and Merlin's resting place are. It's their kind of ancient forest. Avalon. So this is like a shadowy character here, and the water. Le chemin. Apologies if I'm butchering the French. They've got a crow rattle here. If I don't think you can see in this. So here you've got the sacred fountain. So I'm starting a bit further down so you can see the whole card. You've got almost like little butterflies or fairies here. And again, you can see this Celtic symbolism is right up in the top of the card there. They're really pretty, and I think it's going to be really good for kind of rooting into the Avalonian and Arthurian legends. Morgana, well, it speaks for itself, really. Le Miroir. So you've got this damsel or dragonfly here being reflected. We've all got these like beautiful Celtic things underneath. Arthur. It's like a battle scene. Le Mage. This is a fiery eyes. There's another spiritual character here. All this blackness. Excalibur, obviously the sword of Excalibur here. Interestingly, on a horizontal. Le Druide. Some of these cards are really dark, actually. Interesting. La Metamorphose. So obviously you can see the pupae and the moth coming out from there. Le Corbeau, the crow, or raven. Crow, I think, Corbeau, isn't it? Le Désert. So you've got this face here, and again you've got like the crow skull or raven skull here, and then almost like fire coming out. I have to look that one up. Le Loup, so that's a wolf, definitely. La Folie, I think you'd say that's the madness, isn't it? Madness or insanity. Le Bâtisseur. La Pierre Levée. So here you've got this beautiful stone circle, and you've got like this stag horns coming here. La Rente, and always in the background. Reminds me a little bit of the Good Tarot, actually. I don't have that one anymore. I let it go, but it's that same sense of having more in the background. Le Mythe, Le Merle Blanc. So it's like a white, particularly white bird. So only small decks. So that's the Merlin one. some really cool cards there, I think, with some hidden meaning. And then there's this one, which is dragons. I couldn't resist. Same size cards. Part of me is thinking that I could actually combine them to make one great big deck, because they're very similar. So again, you've got a book. They have the same kind of things in here, slightly different here. Rune, element, force, danger. So it has slightly different messages. They do have different backs, but ultimately they are, let's just have a look and see, they are basically, yeah, they're the same size as the Merlin cards, and the backs are both very dark, so I don't think it would be too hard to kind of pull and mix them in together. Again, this is a mix of places, characters, and it starts in Mont Saint-Michel, which obviously with the dragon in front of the Mont, which is Normandy, of course, Normandy coast, Brittany coast. La Vouivre, so you've got almost this female, like mermaid-like dragon here with a snake-like body. La Tarasque du Rhône, so this is a specific type of dragon. It's like a turtle almost, but with these tentacles. Litre de Laine, so you've got this multi-headed beast. Some of these are quite dark. Le Leviathan. I wasn't expecting them to be quite so powerful dark. It might be quite a good deck for this time of year with darkness. Le Meadows, a jellyfish there. That one's simple. That's a lizard. That's quite unusual compared to the others. Nidhogg. So is it really, you might not be able to see this dark dragons here. There's some mushrooms underneath. Again, they've all got these symbols at the bottom. Python or Python. Les chemins de Compostelle. So this is roads, the road of Compostelle. It's like, you know, this is more of a path and a pilgrimage with these standing stones. L'Escalope is a beautiful fiery dragon coming up there out of that. Dreki. So you've got this head and it's like got antlers on it here and its paw there. It's interesting how it's in the corner here, and this is just, there's what look like some birds here in murmuration, and this is very plain to an extent. Sigrid et le dragon Fafnir. So that's obviously particular stories. It's great big dragon's mouth here with two dragon eyes and a nose. And the character here. This looks like it might be from some kind of legend. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Oh, look, Le Basilique. Big eye. Salamander. So you fiery salamander there on a potion bottle. Le Dragon Gaulois. So he's a dragon of Gaul, or a Gaulish dragon. The dragon under the mountain. This is the dragon from the Lord of the Rings with all the gold. Smaug, the dragon under the mountain. So some of them are from different. Oh, there's dragons in here in this ball with the firefly out of the damsel or dragonfly outside. Gargoyles, they're quite cool. Whoa, lots of tempting white fluffy dragons here. Ladon. So some of these are very much particular dragons, and some of them are just characters, and some of them are. Oh, and that's the Ouroboros. That's more unusual because it's sometimes dragons, it's sometimes places, it's sometimes characters. But they are two Secret d'étoiles. So Secret of the Stars. Secret d'étoiles. Let me just find it on here for you. French-based decks. As I say, very reasonable price. I picked them up in France directly, but I would imagine there'll be somewhere you can find them online. And it was the Oracle of the Dragon, Oracle of Merlin. As it happened, I remember there being other decks there, but these were the two I chose. So I hope you like them, and I'm going to have a look through some of the other decks I've got to share with you now. But in the meantime, take care and see you again soon.